Good morning, everybody. Welcome to class 3 of expressive color. Today we are going to be talking about broken color and optical mixing, which is really an interesting and different way to think about how colors combine on the canvas. It's kind of a more impressionistic approach, but we're actually going to instantly jump over and look at the last 2 weeks of homework. First one being gradients, and the second one being chromatic or colorful grays. And so let's go ahead and pop over. All right, everybody sees our Padlet page here?
Yes.
All right, we got our class videos, got handouts here. This one is amazing and fantastic. Old video from Gamblin. So if you guys get a chance, otherwise I'm going to try to spend one of these sessions talking about how to visualize color and values in 3 dimensions, which blew my mind about 15 years ago or however long ago this video came out. This is a funny little video, if you guys get a chance, just about how Americans are ruining the English language. So on the class handouts, I put the broken color and optical mixing. It is in the email. The easiest way to print it is I will always link it or make it an attachment in the email. And that way you can just print it directly from there, save it. I save it as a Word file. So the cool thing about that is that you can go in and edit it out. Like you can get rid of all the boring parts. You can add your own notes into it if you have, something that works with Word. What I did too is I put Lisa was just asking about a list for critiquing. This is something I've been modifying slowly over time. I would like to put the word intention at the very beginning. And theme, idea, and concept are basically the same, but intention is my word for my, there we go, for the year. Is just literally going into my work because I have so many half-finished paintings because I go in with a half-baked idea and I would like to have less half-baked ideas. But anyways, Lisa and everybody else, this is a great little checklist that I made, and you can just print up page 1, print 10 of them. And literally, if you guys take the time to fill it out before you even start your painting, the first maybe 2-3 areas, and then check back in midway through your painting. And then when you finish the painting, finish filling it out. What are the weaknesses? What are the, what am I challenging myself? Was I creative? This is a really good checklist. And the rest of it is all about the things that go wrong in my paintings that I just kind of like, okay, how do I keep reinforcing these ideas and getting them to sink in? The last part here is my personal step-by-steps. When my paintings are working the best, I do these things, right? Again, edit, change, make it your own. But I just wanted to share that with you. So Lisa, this is a rough idea of something that we can use to critique our own work, to critique other people's work, on, or again, I hate the word critique, but, help each other. Oh, let me do one more thing. So if you're wondering how to print this, go over to the side, the far right side. You guys see that? And there's 3 dots. Click that, and there is a download attachment right there. And then you can save it to your desktop. So what I would do is create a folder on your desktop that says handouts from Michael or handouts for art or, stupid stuff Mike makes me read, whatever you guys want to name it, and start just dropping those files into there. Because as you guys have noticed, especially if you're new to my class, is I have not deleted any of the old handouts. So there are so very many handouts on here. So that's just kind of a little bonus. And you could literally fill a book already. I try to, most classes, write something up for you, for me, to keep me focused on the class and what I want to teach you. And some thoughts and ideas. I won't go over all of this, but a lot of this is even for you. Like, I love this portion at the end that I borrowed from an artist named Dan Scott about how colors combine. You know, this is so fantastic that you put these blue dots and yellow dots side by side, but if you put 1,000,000 of them side by side and zoom out, it changes color, right? These yellow and blue dots side by side become green. Zoom out even further and it becomes a solid green color. So yeah, there's lots of handouts. Ask questions, read them before class, please, because I'll be going over that. All right. Questions for the class. Thank you guys for continuing to ask questions. I added a couple more resources. This was like a little demo that I did just about the opacity and transparency of color, a little chart that I built. So just threw that in there. But anyways, keep asking questions, keep adding resources of your own. You guys have been so fantastic about adding links to things you like. This is about panels. Adding reference photos. I added a number of new kind of colorful grays and gradient pictures on there. Artists we admire, that I included some of the heavy hitters from today's class about optical mixing and broken color. So those are there. I didn't include all the artists because I, as always, gather too many. Some of them are strangely ugly. Like, this is by an artist, Maynard Dixon, who I really appreciate. And I just wonder if this is a finished painting because his colors are so off. But what I really like is when you squint your eyes at it, it really comes together. So anyways, I included that. But I included a lot of different broken color and optical mixing. Color inspiration, I did not add any more there. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at our work. Any questions at all about what I just shared? All right. You guys are awesome. All right, Bonnie, I don't think.
I have not done any painting since this class started because I was gone.
Okay.
But I did watch your YouTube from last week, and that was really great. I appreciate you recording those. So
good. No, and I'll try to always record them.
Yeah.
Do you have any quick questions about what we're doing, or how I could help you at all, or how we can help you?
I think what I need to do is just give myself time to paint, and I haven't been home, so that's been a problem. But no, I just appreciate observing, and I hope to start painting today.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, here's two things really quickly on that. No pressure.
Yeah.
This is your class. Do not feel, I got an email from one of the students this morning feeling guilty for not having done this week's homework. And again, I get it. Life gets in the way. People get sick. You get a puppy, you get whatever, and life gets in the way.
I was in Hawaii last week, so.
Then you have no excuse. You should have been painting like crazy. A Mai Tai in one hand and a brush in the other. What were you doing, Bonnie Little?
Snorkeling with my granddaughter. So that's
that does make painting harder. But anyways, no, there's no pressure. If you do not feel bad and just continue to move forward. Like, you can literally skip all those lessons and just jump to the next lesson.
Yep.
Don't feel like, oh, I'm 2 weeks behind. I've got to, before I can do week 3, I've got to do week 1 and 2. You do not. Just jump in, have fun, keep up as much as possible, because they do build up a little bit on each other. but at
Yeah.
the same time is just jump in. We'll critique that. You'll be caught right up. Don't worry about it if you're fall behind or miss an assignment or anything else. The other thing is that, yeah, like you said, they're recorded and you can always catch up, and they'll stay recorded, Bonnie. You
Right,
will
yeah.
not lose these videos at the end of the class. So
Yeah.
you can always go back and do some of these exercises and some things if you want. All right, Cheryl, you little cheater,
Why am I cheating? No.
because you're sharing pictures from Thomas Kitz's class.
Yeah, I am, but they were just as examples of what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, well, that's not the only reason you're a cheater, but I'm just kidding. No, fantastic. And I remember seeing this. Maybe you shared it with me over email. Beautiful painting, really nice. And Thomas is such a good teacher. So if you guys ever want the very scientific minded, detail oriented instructor, that is Thomas Kitz. He was my instructor in college and great teacher, wonderful painter. Do you have anything in here? God, I mean, that's just beautiful. Look at the glow and the transparency and
Really
opacity.
nice.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
never felt like that was finished, but I had a good time doing it.
Now,
Beautiful.
I mean, when I looked at a lot of Impressionist work growing up, I always felt like they were kind of unfinished. It
Okay.
took me a long time to appreciate Impressionism, especially the looser, more gestural work. But you got a lot going on here. And I think, I mean, it's in the word itself, right? Impression. And you
Right.
definitely caught the impression of the thing, you know, whether it's as detailed or as, especially, you know, knowing you like I do, that you would love to have more detail. You'd love to have, you
Of
know,
course.
yeah. But I think you definitely got the, you know, quote unquote impression of the
Yeah.
image. Is there anything you would like to talk about?
This is my homework that isn't gray.
That's okay.
Looks
So is
like
this your gradients or is this your
No,
not
that's the
gradients?
gray one. I tried to make it gray. I really did.
I'm gonna guess Regini's gonna say the same thing when we get to her.
we did the same. I just
Really tried. I really did.
It looks great.
Oh.
I love the sky. I love the color.
Yeah.
No, I know, it looks great to me. Just
Yeah, and truly
very
there's
nice.
suggestions, you know what I mean? It's just like looking at a reference. It's a jumping off point, it's an
Exactly.
idea. You know, I don't care if you follow my rules. I'm not one of those teachers or instructors that, you know, I think it's a beautiful piece. I mean, your transitions are great, both, you know, from your dark blues down to your light blues, from your
Thank you.
yellows up to your pinks. Beautiful. I think this area is a little less than.
Right.
Use a little more explaining. I'm not sure if I'm looking through grasses or trees.
Oh,
Or,
no, you're looking at trees, and the trees on the right are the ones that were the way they are. On the left, I just wanted to show what the mountain does in the morning when the sun hits it. It completely changes color.
Yeah, and I would have had no idea this is a mountain.
No, well, that's all right, because I just put it in there because I wanted to do it.
I like it. I love the
And I
reflection.
think the skies are very nice.
Thank you.
They really are.
Beautiful.
That's
I
quite
love
beautiful.
I'm learning them.
You
And
can
I-
see your
That's-
impressionist hand in there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
All
there's some really nice shapes
Mhm.
being cut in, and you know, I can tell you did the pinks underneath and then the blues
Yeah.
over the top. And then, you know, talking about broken color, you know, we'll be looking at a lot of examples where it's heavy-handed and, you know, thick brush strokes. But what I love is having a dry painting underneath and then letting the scratchy brush strokes come through, or little glimpses of color peek
Yeah.
through. And they merge. And again, let's squint our eyes. So over here, squinting our eyes, very blue, right? And
Yeah,
we go over into this area and it's purple, right? But it's still that blue and that pink, but because it's a scratchier, thinner brushwork, you're getting this optical mixing that we're going to talk about and getting these purples. So yeah, wonderful. Yeah, do you have any questions here? You got about 30 seconds left.
no, I'm the one The one up further, not that one, that one's, the one with the window. One more there. I just wanted to point out that you get optical mixing in everything you do. Those rocks and especially when you do wood.
Yeah.
You get it in everything. And I was looking through some other things and I'm looking at that and I'm going, well, that's a good example, you know, because it's just different colors on top of each other.
Right.
So
No,
that's
this
all.
is a great example. I mean, every one of these stones has personality and
beautiful.
Yes.
interesting things
Thank
going
you.
on.
Painting.
And it is, and that's the great thing about acrylics or being patient with oils, is that you can let the paint dry a little bit and then scumble or drag the paint across and let it be, you know, let the other colors show through. There's a quote by Eli Shishkin? Can't remember. The Russian painter on the handout that I gave you that talks about that. And something about Monet is, you know, we always think about Monet as painting all at once, right? Alla prima is the word you'll read or hear,
Right.
which just means all at once, painted in one sitting. But Monet very, very rarely, in my understanding, painted all at one time. He let the layers dry and then he just, you know, scrubbed work on other colors on top, and those other colors are showing through. So oftentimes to make, like I showed you in that example with the yellow and blue dots, is to let like a warm color show through underneath and paint some cooler colors on top, or vice versa. And that really works well. So sometimes, you know, if you only have one time to paint each class, you're not going to get all the effects. And in a 1 week class, if you're painting in oils, you're not going to get all of the effects because the painting has to dry to get some of these scrubbed in, you know, things. Luckily, we have a 7 week long class, so we can continue to share our work. If you joined us last Thursday, I'm working on a big landscape of a sunset, and yeah, the colors are ridiculous, but I'm planning to come back over with both glazing and dry paint, and or, you know, a dry brush, and subdue some of those colors, just like Cheryl did. Right, Darlene, this is fantastically subtle.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous. Beautiful.
Well, after I looked at it, I thought that tree in the middle should be off to the side more. So I thought I'm going to go in and redo. I'm going to do another one and use a different kind of gray. And it went very bad. It went wrong very quickly, because after I'd done most of it, I thought, well, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll come back in and glaze over the top of it. Well, it wasn't dry and it was not working. So I ended up, you know, I did a wipeout, but not an intentional wipeout. I just brushed it out. I was so frustrated because maybe acrylic would have been a better thing to try that with. But anyway, the other thing I was not, and you have, not your fault, I just didn't pick up on it exactly, that the white that you've been using is titanium white, and it is opaque. I didn't realize that I didn't have titanium white. I had something called soft mixing white, and it is not opaque. So I just ordered a tube of titanium white, and using that is a big difference. It's wonderful paint. I love it. I'm very pleased with them. I'm going to order another tube right away. But I didn't, we talked a lot about blacks and not so much about whites, and you did, but I just didn't catch it. So
No,
anyway,
you're right, Darlene, and I definitely could do an entire class on whites. Linda Morgan O'Connor suggested that I use a fast dry white. Is that what it's called, Linda? Oops, you're muted.
Yep,
There we
sorry.
go.
Yeah, it's a Gamblin paint. I think it's quick dry white.
Yeah, and that is changing the game for me.
Yeah.
That is allowing
quick
me to
dry.
get back
Oh
into
my
the
God.
painting in a day or two.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's drying because you end up mixing a little bit of white at least into all the colors.
It is
And white
fast
is
dry
this,
white.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Fast dry.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yep.
interesting.
White is the slowest drying of the colors, as far as I can tell. It might not be true, but it's one of the slowest drying colors. So, especially a painting like you're showing us here, that's a lot of white. And it's going to dry very slowly. So that has really helped. And I've even been mixing the fast dry white into my other white and being able to modify my drying time.
Oh, interesting. Thank
The only
you.
problem is my little piles of color that I expect to last days, especially all the cleanup colors are, I'm really building up that self-portrait that I'm doing quickly because I'm like, oh, almost too dry. But that is an option. The other option is to add just a touch of like some kind of a medium that is a quick dry, a quicker
Oh.
drying, like a Galkid or an Alkyd or any of the Liquin. But the problem with those is it does make it slimier or slipperier. And you do have, a different consistency to the paint, which I don't love. I would prefer just to use paint as opposed to using a bunch of mediums, except for maybe when I'm glazing or doing some other effects on purpose. But just a drop or two of a medium will speed up your dry time. The other thing is, yeah, unfortunately, if we're using oils, they've got to be patient. That is just.
Yeah, and then I, don't have the techniques of doing things, particularly like trees. And somebody mentioned YouTubes. The problem is you can spend 100 hours looking through YouTubes trying to find the right one that works for you. And I find that very frustrating because everybody, they'll be doing a specific style or something, and it may be not what I'm looking for. So, I find it. I guess it's just trial and error and keep trying until I get the effect I want. Maybe that probably works best for me, I suppose. So anyway.
Right. And just to go back, we don't paint things. We paint lights, values, and colors.
That's true. I forgot that. Matter of fact, I have that on my windowsill.
Shapes, values, and colors.
I have that. I have a sign on my window says paint shapes of colors, not things.
There you go. Yeah, and it really is important, but I get it. Like, doing the little spindly branches, feels like you're painting branches. Doing the little grasses feels like you're painting grasses. Like, it's easy to name it. But the truth is, we're just making the shapes of those things and the illusion of those things. If you look up how to paint trees on YouTube, find 1 million videos, just like you said, because a lot of people do want to teach how to paint things. But I promise you that is a distraction, and you'll never end, because then you'll be like, well, now I'm painting my cat. How do I paint cats? Oh no, how do I paint cat hair? Oh, how do I paint cat eyes? You know what I mean? Like, you can look it all up on YouTube, and I'm sure you could find a video for it.
I think you just pointed out what went wrong with my second try on this, because I didn't realize it until just this minute. I was trying to paint trees and it wasn't going well, and it didn't go well, and I spent a long time at it and it continued to not go well. So I had to, remind myself of what you said last semester about thank the painting for teaching me.
Patience.
Darlene,
Yeah.
if you're getting frustrated with branches, turn it upside down. I find it much easier to pull those branches down and fade out.
Oh,
100%. That is great. That is great advice, Cheryl.
great idea. Thank
And
you.
do not push when you're trying to do spindly things. When you're trying to do, you want to lead the brush. Your hand is in front of the brush. The brush is dragging behind your hand, and it's a slow lift.
Okay.
Towards the end.
Thank you.
And we won't get these heavy brush, heavy branches. You start here and you slowly start to lift your brush. And if you're painting with a flat, you're going to turn your brush from the thicker to the side till you get thinner, and then you're going to pull off. If you're using, more of a pointerly brush, like a brush that has a point on it, same thing. I find myself sometimes stealing from my daughter's desk here in the studio and grabbing her watercolor brushes because she used a lot of those, what are they called? The pointy ones.
Riggers.
Riggers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great for tree branches.
Liners or riggers.
I call them riggins, but yeah, whatever.
Sure you do.
All right, Diane, are you here? I don't think Diane's here. All right, Dawn, how you doing?
I'm here.
Oh, Dawn Rasmussen. Rasmussen. Which one would you like to talk about the most here?
That's
Well, I was thinking to save time, you could skip me.
Why is that?
Well, that you'd spend more time on people that really want it. I don't know which one.
That one's pretty.
Yeah, I want to talk about
That one's really pretty.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd almost rather talk about something that's less successful because I
Hmm.
kind of like that one too. Okay, plein air. I find plein air incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah.
I
good.
agree.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's one of the
Um,
most difficult. I mean, it is the extreme sport of painting.
You're right.
I mean, you're standing on a path in a park and people are walking by and you're going, oh, gee whiz, they're going to look at my painting. And I said, well, forget it. It doesn't matter what I think. What do you think?
Somebody
Oh, I
told,
thought you were asking the people walking by on the path that.
No, but no, Michael, what's your opinion, or what do you, weaknesses and strengths?
Sure, sure. First off, when I paint in plein air, like especially in a public space, because some of the waterfalls and things here in Oregon are so busy. I mean, they come in by the literally busload. And I want to go like, come back in 30 minutes, please. Don't judge me. And it's just difficult because the paintings go through awkward stages. And yeah, and one of my favorite stories I've told before is painting out in the tulip fields here in Portland. And a guy watched me for like 45 minutes, an hour, just stood behind me. And I was out in the middle of the field, just standing in the mud. And he just finally, I turned around to see what he, thought. We said no words to each other the entire time, but he stayed there the whole time. And I was like, looked at him like, kind of, what do you think? And he's like, the guy on TV would have been done already, and walked away.
Oh,
Bob.
Good old Bob.
brutal.
Yeah.
Very,
I was like,
very
man,
brutal.
it's like the police procedurals where, we're expecting cops to solve crimes in 2 hours. Or an hour. Anyways, very nice, good shapes, good, interesting subject. I love your, dissipation of values and colors. What is happening is you got lazy on your shadow. You just painted it as dark, right?
Mhm.
I
Right.
think that you just didn't come back to it and actually put the color in. Because right now it looks like a tree next to a hole, maybe a tar pit
Sure.
of some sort. So yeah, and I get it. A lot of my, in plein air paintings, nobody sees because they're sketches, they're just information gathering. They're, what can I do in that amount of time? I do appreciate you sharing it with us and sharing the agony and the ecstasy of being out, getting bit by bugs and having tourists, judge you and all of that. But the truth is that it looks like you reverted to a black almost. And what it's doing is, you see it right here in the top of this hill, is if I squint my eyes, it's almost as dark as this shadow and almost as dark as this shadow. And it flattens out the piece a little bit.
Sure.
I think, with 15 minutes more work where you brought in a little color here, you made these areas a little more blue and a little less dark. And I'll do the same thing where I start my underpainting almost black and white, and then I have to come back over and kind of, I sketch it out, and then I have to, kind of a no tan, which just means black and white underpainting.
Right.
So it looks like you're in the right direction, definitely. All of my critique on this is the darks. Too dark. This has reflected light coming from the sky into it.
Sure.
It might be that dark right here, But as this shadow progresses further from the source that's casting it, it's going to get lighter because there's more reflected light from the dome of the sky coming back in. It's going to get bluer, cooler, lighter, softer. You'll notice that as you go out. But really, I mean, for being a plein air piece, great job. I mean, how long did you have to work on this?
Hour and a half.
Okay.
It was actually quite a while.
That's good.
Yeah, but it's so much, isn't it? It's so difficult for our brain to corral the information. I call it a stimuli overload when we're out there, right? We're seeing everything around it. Like a photo is so nice because it's already cropped. We're not being influenced by all the things around it. The shadows aren't moving, the bugs aren't biting, the tourists aren't talking, all the things. So, I mean, it's great. And how many plein air paintings have you done, Don?
Oh, 5.
That's impressive. I think you
About
should go
4
back.
more than I
and,
have.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I really appreciate you sharing this because this is, I bet you if we went look back at my first 40 plein air paintings, they would look very, very similar. And the main thing to remember about plein air painting is you're there to gather notes. You're there to observe in real time. And, you know, I always tell you to not judge your paintings too harshly, to thank them for what they're teaching you. Plein air paintings go double or triple
Yeah.
because they're really difficult. There's so much. So if you're just out there and you're doing it, again, it's just like fishing or golfing, you know, the first couple of times you're going to suck. You know, if you're anything like me in golf, you're going to suck forever. But, you know, it just, you get better piece by piece and you gather it. And I think it's great. I really do. I think keep it. Maybe don't paint into it at all. Just keep it, put a date on the back so that you can refer back to it. Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Michael, this
Thanks.
is Diane.
I believe you.
I was muted, so I do want feedback at some point.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to you.
One
Did
thing
I
about
skip
plein
you?
air painting, I just want to say this to Don. I've done it probably a half a dozen times. And the thing that I find difficult is, you know, when you're painting from a photo, you're only dealing with one sense, what you're seeing. And when you're outside, all your senses are engaged. You're smelling it, the sun is on you, the wind is blowing, and it's hard to focus. It's hard for me to settle down and plus you're looking at something this big. And on a photo, you can, like Michael said, you can crop in, and to find that focus to me is just, it's horrible.
Have you ever tried the sight size thing that the girl does? I have done that. That kind of.
It sort of helps, but what I end up doing is taking a picture of what I'm trying to plein air paint and paint from my phone.
Yeah.
While I'm sitting out in the sun.
Well, I took a cardboard viewfinder of sorts
Mhm.
and held it up with one hand and painted little notes where the mountains ran out of the frame.
Ah.
And then I told these people walking by that then I was going to connect the dots and hope that I had a proportional painting.
Yeah, and I did want to comment on that. I mean, your design is quite great. Like, I love the guiding lines. I love, you know, you have everything's kind of coming towards, like, the focus is obviously right in here. And look at all these lines. Like, you definitely found something that was interesting. The eye moves. Truly, my biggest
shadow
feedback would be, the darks. And that is so difficult. And then the other thing is, I'm sure Gail and anybody else that's doing plein air paintings would agree, is the light out there is so bright.
Yes.
You're painting, you think this is so much color, and then you bring it in and you're like, oh, it's so pasty, and you know, I've added so much white, and it's just, so there's so much out there. My advice is, if you can, get into the shade wherever you are. I know painters, actually a lot of my friends who are good plein air painters, they worry more about finding a shady spot than they do about the subject now. but they're so good they can make anything beautiful, right?
So
Right.
Don,
But it's controlling the light. Like I have a big umbrella, which is unfortunately about 6 inches too short for me, but I still would rather have that umbrella up if I don't have shade, just to control the lighting. And then the other thing is, if you're painting on a pochade box or something where you have a flat palette, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And upright canvas, is the lights hitting those two things so differently
Oh. Oh.
that you'll mix a color on your palette and then put it on your canvas, and it's totally different, because your canvas more likely is in shade and your box, your palette is more likely in light. So anyways,
Well, that's
Um,
interesting. I bought a Strata plein air setup, and you can tilt the box.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
so it could be more like your studio where you have a vertical surface you're working on
yeah.
or from.
Yeah, and there's times where I'll tilt the painting so that it's almost inverted towards me, so that it's casting a shadow.
Sure.
There's
Sure.
yeah, I mean, so many tricks. Sometimes I put a big flat panel behind it to cast more shadow. And then the other thing is painting on a canvas on stretchers is almost impossible plein air, because the light will come through the back.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Don-
Don,
Yes,
you
sir.
get a F for today,
ah,
because you said you had nothing to talk about, and look, here we are.
There you are.
That's
I'm
great.
sorry to waste everybody's time.
Oh no, that's
Great.
so useful for everybody, because everybody should get out and paint. Everybody should feel free to get out there and make horrible messes. And not saying yours is, but we should all, you will get better, and it will make your studio paintings better. You'll learn so much more from nature than you'll ever learn from a photo. And it's difficult. And my paintings, I mean, I've been doing this for 15, 20 years, and my plein air paintings do not have nearly the success rate of my studio paintings, and I don't suspect they ever will. But also, like, my studio paintings still don't even have a super high success rate. So it's difficult. All right, Gail.
I have a question. Do you use oils when you paint outdoors, or do you use acrylics?
90% of the time I use oils, but it's just because
Okay.
I'm not comfortable, and I don't even have good tubes of paint. Like at the beginning of class, I was asking if people wanted the demo done in oils or acrylics. And the problem is I can't set up the easel, the paints on the palette with acrylics. They'll just run right off. So I would have to set up either where you guys just trust me in my color mixing, so it'd have to be flat.
Yeah.
But no, I paint mostly in oils. They do dry faster outside.
Don, did you do that in oils or acrylics?
Yeah, that's oil. When I painted with acrylics, I would have to I'd be constantly misting the paint when I
Oh, they
tried
dry.
acrylics outdoors. They dry so fast. Plus, it was windy.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and if
All right,
there's
thank you.
wind, they dry triple.
Oh,
as
yes.
Okay, thank you.
fast. All right, Gail. Man, I just love this reference.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
almost wish you would have painted it like this.
Wow.
I did to start with. I did that gray, just plain gray on Thursday, and then I didn't take a picture of it. I thought I did. And then I went in and put gray colors over it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still gorgeous, still beautiful.
But
yes.
Oh no, look at all these speckles.
yeah. I'm not a big fan of that. I'll paint over it when it dries. And that's just glazing. I did a wipeout. The gray is all wipeout, and then it's just glazes over the top. So I think I'll go back and actually paint it.
Yeah,
Still
gosh, I
color.
have all these issues with when I glaze as well.
Mhm.
These little spots, it's like melanomas
And kitty hair.
freckles and cat hair and dog hair and husband hair and wife hair and
Yep.
yeah, all the things. Yeah, glazing does not come without its own challenges.
Mhm.
A beautiful picture. Your
Mhm.
colors are fantastic. The depth these soft edges versus they're still not even hard edges, but soft, less soft edges. Really great. I think people are going to love this painting. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your favorite part.
I don't like this painting because I don't know. I'm just not, there's not enough paint on it. Like I said, I did it just with glazes. I did a wipeout of the gray, and I did the wipeout in gray, which I've never done before. Usually I would do something darker, but I just decided I was going to do gray and just do some glazing over it, and that's exactly what I did. So there's just 2 coats of glaze over this.
So this is acrylic in the beginning.
I'm sorry?
Is it acrylic when you start?
No, I don't do acrylic. That's the one I really want you to talk about, is the one down there. It's not an assignment so much.
Yeah, but it is because it's all grays.
It's all, yep, yeah, and there's a lot of gradations in it.
Like it?
And there's broken color in it too, so I'm done for the month, but
Yeah. Congratulations.
but this is the one I wanted to talk about, because
right.
this one was a grand experiment. I didn't feel like I accomplished anything during the last class because I was experimenting. So typically I do water-based oils on panels. This is a canvas, and it's a canvas that I put 2 or 3 coats of gesso on it, and then a couple of coats of Gamblin ground, and then lightly sanded it. And I did
Let me
get,
interrupt real quickly, Gail. So gambling ground is oil based, like basically it's like gesso, but it's oil based. So it's if you use that, you can only paint oil paints on top. Go ahead.
Yes, it's only oil. But it puts a candy coating on the canvas so the oil stands on top of the canvas, on top of the surface, which is what I really wanted. So this is a wipe away. And for the gal that was wondering about trees, I have just found that doing a wipe away for trees is magnificent for me. But
And why?
because you get all sorts of little Bob Ross happy accidents everywhere. It just takes on a life of its own, and you get a lot of soft edges, and you can take a rigger brush or whatever you're using and drag color to make all kinds of soft trees in the background. And it's just a whole lot of fun, just creating your wilderness, I guess, or whatever it is you're doing.
I'd sure like to see a demonstration of that. I would love that. And I have one question about your gambling ground. I bought some of that, and I put it on, a canvas after the gesso, but it always stayed tacky. I don't know how you sand that. It never dried. Stayed
Did you
slightly
thin it with Gamble, or did you thin it with what is that?
Gamsol.
Gamsol?
I didn't thin it at all.
Oh, that was your problem. You have to,
Okay, thank you. I didn't thin it at all.
Yeah, it'll take weeks to dry otherwise.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because it's still tacky, and I'm thinking, how do you sand that? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
and I think that we did a video of it. If you look at Michael's videos, because this is one of the things we had a long conversation about. And you have to thin it with the Gamasol so that it's very like soup, like tomato soup.
Oh, wow.
And put it on with a blade, so you're scraping very smooth.
Well, I put it on with a blade, but it was like putting grout on tile. I mean, I thought, how do you do this? This is really difficult.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael's
style.
Yeah, Michael's got a video of it, I think.
Do you have
Okay,
an approximate
you.
proportion for how you mix it?
No, I just I got a mason jar and a spatula and put a couple of globs of the Gamblin ground in the jar, and then just dumped gesso on it and shook it up until it was the right consistency.
Not gesso, Gamsol, right?
Yeah.
Gamasol. I'm sorry, did I say gesso? I apologize.
Yeah, do not mix gesso with it.
It's one's water and one's oil.
Hey, thank you.
But yeah, this is the one I wanted to talk about because of the galleries and some of the other things I'm involved in. They want canvas, and I have not been a canvas painter.
So did this work out right for you then?
Yeah, it worked. It was perfect.
Good.
And I know a lot of people have been struggling with how to do a wipe on canvas.
Yeah, and I need to do that because when you use a canvas versus a linen, and I don't paint on linen hardly ever unless somebody gives it to me as a sample. Linen is much more expensive, but linen has a different weave. A
Mhm.
linen weave is much more organic and doesn't look so pixelated like a canvas. If you're painting on a canvas, especially if you're doing a wipe away, you'll get these little canvas marks that will drive you
No.
batty.
Yep.
And especially when you photograph it and zoom in, they just look, it looks crazy.
Oh.
It looks like a low resolution photo.
Mhm.
So if you're using canvas, which I also need to do more of for some of my galleries, I just fill those holes in with gesso. I just keep putting layers and layers of gesso.
That's and that's
Gail's taken it to the next level, and I was doing that and got away from it, but I think I'm going to have to go back to the oil ground and do what Gail's done, because if we look at this, there's no way we would know this is a canvas. It looks like a panel. It looks smooth. It looks nice. It's taking the paint equally. So yeah, great job. The colors are wonderful. I
Yeah.
just love your transitions from your yellow ochres into your greens and dark, your kind of Payne's gray almost colors. And this is a beautiful piece, Gail. It's very subtle. If I had a critique,
yes, that's what
I
was
do.
looking
I
for.
do have a critique feedback. It looks like the river goes up, and then maybe there's a waterfall right here that goes down.
So that's too bright.
I think it's because it lines up so perfectly with this that it doesn't feel like it's wrapping around. Because if I was to guess,
Gotcha.
I would think that this is a river that wraps around and
Yes.
goes back here. Because you made this line so almost even, it
Gotcha.
looks so sudden that it feels like it's dropping off. And maybe this is too bright. Maybe that is part of it. But also you
And
can just pull these darks down just a
okay.
touch.
Okay.
And down
Or
a
raise
little.
these lights up just a touch.
Gotcha. Okay. I can do that.
And sorry, Cheryl, I didn't hear you.
Down a little.
Pull the tree
I would
down.
pull the darks down or push
No,
the
that
lights up.
line, yeah. I think that where that end is about just about the width of that white too high.
Okay. I can do that.
You see, you see what I mean? It
Yep.
doesn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Do
can do
you guys agree that, once I pointed it out, especially, it kind of feels like it just drops off versus wrapping around?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can fiddle with that. That's not a problem.
Now it should be pretty easy. I mean, the easiest is probably going to be to pull your darks down just a touch, or to push your lights up just a touch.
Yep. I can do a little of both. Now.
Great. Beautiful piece. Beautiful piece.
Thank you. And I did do the gradients below. I mean, if you want to show them, that's fine.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely see that.
I think the reflection is beautiful.
Thank you. And reflections are something I've really been
Yeah, it's
struggling
gorgeous.
with, working hard on.
Very gorgeous.
Yeah, one thing I will take for my reflections is literally just put a ruler up and get so they're straight up and down, and you've done a good job. This one's a little off, going to the right a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I've done paintings where the reflections are actually going backwards, a tree going this way and the reflection. Yeah. So
yeah. Reflections come straight down. Shadows can go to angles. And Graham is not here, but
that's a beautiful painting.
love this piece. Yeah.
That's
It looks like he was kind of surprised himself by what he wrote here. I wish I could say I knew what I was doing when I painted this, but it was a result of experimentation, which is
Beautiful.
which for me is education backdoor. I love that. Yeah, beautiful piece. Really nice. Graham, I look forward to talking to you about this piece, hopefully in the future, and just gorgeous color.
Yeah, it's
Holy-
beautiful painting. I love the subtlety, I can't say it, of the reflections in the water,
Yeah.
sky in the water. The softness of that is just beautiful.
Yeah, that's a wonderful painting. Yeah, beautiful. And I don't think Joyce is here either.
Oh, that's pretty.
I think Joyce is having problems getting her camera and everything to work. So hopefully, Joyce, you're watching the recordings. Wow, this is beautiful. It reminds me of a like Scandinavian or Dutch painting. I don't know even what the location is, but it looks European. And yeah, what a great use of grays, because it's a beautiful and somewhat lively piece, but still done very cool and moody colors. Yeah, it's really nice. So Joyce, if you watch this video, feel free to give me a call and see if we can help you get set up for the class, because I don't think we've seen you yet. But I appreciate you being here and sharing your work.
Maybe Diane should go next.
Yeah, we missed
I
Diane.
apologize, Diane, that I skipped you. I don't know how the alphabet works, but I'm guessing you're in here somewhere.
Right there.
Wait, I think, yeah, no, don't spend time on me. I've been uploading evidently on last Padlet because that's not, that's not what I saw on my Padlet. Yeah.
Do you guys still see the other Padlet here?
Yes.
I uploaded somewhere.
There it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, you put it into the tonalism class.
Yeah, I'm really good at technology. What?
You and I should go together and teach a class.
I'm thinking, yes, it's my next career. Good, Gail. Yes, yeah, good idea. Like, oh my God.
All
Wow.
right. Diane has been painting.
I have been. My arm is working for painting.
Very good.
Beautiful it is.
Beautiful
that's-
reference.
Wait, is that? Oh,
And-
yeah, that's the photograph. The photograph is excellent.
There. Do that much.
Yeah, so there we can see all the canvas that we were talking about, all that
Oh.
texture.
And that was midway through, and then I have one that's further. I've worked further on. Uh-oh. Did I not
I think
upload
this
it?
is your progress one.
Oh, yeah. So up above? No.
That's as
Oh,
far as we get.
are you kidding? Oh, no, yeah, that's not. Oh, maybe that's it. Oh, I think that is it.
It's really nice.
The back, yeah, I worked more on it. The background is more, defined.
Yeah, great.
But it's really nice. You know, I do notice that you've reverted back to your watercolor kind
Yes,
of style
I
a little
have.
bit.
Totally.
Maybe paint directly from the tube a little bit. Don't add water too much.
I think I'm really struggling with learning how to use acrylics and blending with acrylics. I know how to blend with watercolor, but I'm really struggling with acrylics to blend.
Yeah, and that is the progression, right? A lot of painters go from watercolors to acrylics and maybe eventually oils. But you're still, and it's not a critique, it's just a observation. An observation is that you're thinning the paint so much.
Yeah.
I would love to see a little bit of texture and some density. You'd also cover up the weave of the canvas.
Yeah.
But it's still beautiful. I mean, your grays are fantastic. If I squint my eyes at this, it's great. I mean, it's got a photographic quality to it. It's got a lot of really good things going on. I mean, your sense of depth and perspective is really nice. I love the almost abstract nature of this huge foreground and keeping everything to the top. There's a lot of things I really like about this, Diane.
Yeah.
If you crop the bottom off, it'd be gorgeous. With it.
Yeah. Or maybe, who knows if I'll do it, try it again, or come into this with more paint, or just start over.
No, you can just paint right over it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
acrylics are never ending like that. You can just build and build and build.
I wonder what you'd be like with a palette knife.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think
Yeah.
she'd be good.
I kind of like that.
Tune
idea.
in tomorrow while we torture Diane with a palette knife.
Yeah,
Just paint over that with a palette knife.
I like that idea because I don't think I have anything to lose.
Well, and with the palette knife, the acrylics will stay wet longer and you can blend where the edges meet, the dark and the light.
Oh,
That's really cool. And you can smooth it out with the tip of the knife. I love doing that.
All right,
Wow.
Diane, you and me, we're going to paint with acrylics tomorrow.
okay.
And your palette knife.
Thursday's class,
Palette knife.
Michael
I'll try
Orwick embarrasses himself and paints with acrylics.
I'm just saying I cry easily.
I like
It is beautiful. Your grays are fantastic. Your transitions are nice. You've got an interest. I mean, it's a very creative image.
Yeah, I like the photograph much better.
And I
do.
like what you've done in the distance
like
when
what
you're
you did.
painting much better.
Mhm.
I think it's really great, Diane.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this is lovely too. I mean, great transitions from vibrant to the grays to the darks. Yeah, we're gonna have to work on the tips of your, trees a little bit so they're not just all stumpy.
Okay.
But it's just lifting the brush softly. And these kind of trees, I guess, do have very stumpy ends. Never mind. You did great. Look at the reference first, teacher.
Yeah, but I mean, if it doesn't read correctly, people aren't going to know that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, there's just so many different kinds of trees.
Yeah. My
Anyways,
big takeaway for this one, Michael, was what you taught us. My painting, the foreground was just all dark. And then I remembered that you said, you know how the camera does its thing. So it was focusing on the sky. And so I took another photograph, like you said, of the landscape. And there was a lot more information and not all dark. So I came back into the painting. That was a big aha moment.
yeah, but it's almost the wrong aha moment because this
Uh-oh.
part of the sky is reflecting the darker part of the sky above,
Oh.
and darker down below brings it towards us in a weird way.
Oh, but
So
I
there's
was
a lot of
talking-
times in my paintings with water and things where I go back in and I'll actually darken the foreground a little bit, and it'll feel a little more. I mean, you're getting it, but yeah, no, it's a tough one. Let's look at Dawn's here, and
That's gorgeous.
yeah, and if the darker water here would line it up just a little, like you could darken this water and all of a sudden it lay down just that little bit more.
Where would it lay down?
in front.
So the sky oftentimes has that little bit of haze, and then it gets lighter and then it gets darker, right? So that same thing is going to happen in the reflection where it's getting darker as it comes towards us a lot of the time, because it's reflecting not here. This is reflecting up here.
Right.
Mm.
And it doesn't always happen, but I found like a lot of times when my painting's not reading, when the water appears flat, if I just darken the foreground a little bit in the water, all of a sudden it lays down and gives a sense of perspective. Let's go back and look at Gail's.
We're in the Padlet page.
No, that's right. We're on the
Padlet page.
I was going to say that I know in one lesson, maybe last year even, when we were doing values and you talked about the 5 values of a painting,
Oh yeah.
the the sky being the lightest one, water being 2, and then the foreground or the flat ground versus the horizontal ground versus the vertical trees.
yeah. Versus the upright planes.
The upright planes, thank you.
But yeah, just that little bit of darkness here, even though it is reflecting pretty equally to the sky, but it kind of helps it lay down. I don't know. It's a strange thing. I mean, even in here. Yeah, these aren't great examples because they're reflecting exactly, but all right. So where are we? On Kim's?
Kim. Kim,
What's that?
Kim, Hunt, that one.
Beautiful grays.
Yes.
That's tough too, where these colors get near each other and don't blend and make just green or brown, or I mean, there's a little bit of brown, but it's nice.
It was
So
just playing around with that.
yeah, it's nice.
So
Nice and gestural marks and yeah. So do you, I don't know what you've shared recently, so
Those-
some of your older stuff, but what were your thoughts on this? Because it's kind of the gradient and the cool chromatic grays.
yeah, that really was from the gradient. The grays I had started when we were working on Thursday. And then I wasn't really happy with it. So I painted over it all with little light umber. So the burnt umber with maybe a bit of white in, and tried to start again. And then it was a little bit tacky underneath. Anyways, I've got another one started, but it's but I didn't get as far as I wanted with it. And my husband had hip surgery this week, so between getting him there and back and looking after him, I didn't. And the businesses these days are really behind in what you schedule an appointment for 10 and you're 4 hours later still waiting for your turn. So anyways,
Yeah, no.
I will keep working on that, but yeah.
Great. Well, we look forward to seeing it. But this is beautiful. I wouldn't knock it. I think you really kind of nailed gradients in an interesting way, and in a way, it works with the grays as well. I mean, it even sort of works with what we're talking about broken color and optical mixing. So don't worry about it too much, Kim. You're doing great.
Yeah, I'm just playing with it and taking it all in.
Yeah.
It's all great information. I just love this time with you guys. So thank you so much. It's just beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think it has a great abstract look to it.
It really does. Yeah, it's very.
It looks like a beach. You know,
Yeah, that's what I was picturing as well.
I think I had one above that too, but it's super bright. Yeah, that one there, I guess it was. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
it gets tough.
the
Yeah, you
attempt
see
at
where
oils.
you see where they start to mix and make colors you might not intend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the tough part about, mixing all in. But yeah, I mean, it still has this feels more deserty,
Mhm. Yeah.
with the hot reds underneath and stuff. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times I just like making, I'll do them a lot of times on little tiny 4-inch by 5-inch surfaces, just kind of using the different colors that I've mixed up and play with. And yeah, I mean, they're beautiful gradients that I don't know if they relate to each other. It's like a top painting and a bottom painting. But it's a lot of fun. And if we're aware, like being present, such a throwaway word right now, but being present while we're doing these things, you're learning so much. I mean, again, I just look at this kind of scrubbing, thinner paint over thicker paint or thicker paint over thinner paint, and you get these beautiful little striations.
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff. That's, some of my favorite things I observe in painters that I, both past and present, that I really like. The Impressionists or the Russian Impressionists, or just painters who are willing to use more paint than I typically do. I love that striation. So yeah, it's beautiful. There's a lot of fun things going on in there.
I like the fact that in your comment, you say this is the first time you tried working with oils.
Yes, that was really the big win. I've had these oils
It's cute.
for
It's
I
a
don't know how many years, so it was the big win was just using them.
too
Just
afraid to try oil, so good for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Well
I
done,
love the
Kim.
blue and orange. The
Thank
blue
you.
and orange is good.
Kim, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Linda Camarada, is this the one?
Wow.
That's beautiful, Linda.
Linda, this is now my new favorite painting of
Yeah.
yours.
Yes, it is so nice.
Linda's like, I hate it. It has no angels, and it's based on a copy of another painting. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna
Yeah.
shoot yourself down. You're gonna say, I copied this.
No,
And
look at
Michael told me to diffuse the sun, and I did, and you're not gonna take any credit, but you painted this, and it is fantastic.
It's wonderful.
look
Well
at
Right? That's one of your best paintings ever.
Yeah, you
Yes.
and I feel it is the best.
It's beautiful.
Linda, I would hang this in my house. It is so
Yeah.
good.
Well,
It's
I'll
gorgeous.
send it to you. No, I'm joking. I'll give it to you, Michael.
You should not, but I'll take it if you do. I will hang it up. I've sent you a couple paintings, so.
I love your
But,
blue version too,
it's-
that's above that also, I mean, they're both gorgeous, but I love that.
Yeah, this is the reference photo. I think this is a Jap. I don't want to say anything.
Oh, it is
I don't
reference.
know who the artist, but this is the reference. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the reference, it's beautiful. I mean, there's a reason I shared it with you guys because I
Right.
love these transitions. I love the broken brushwork, and I love just the sketchiness of it.
Yeah,
But
Belinda,
Linda
I would,
took it
I would,
and made it her own.
Yeah.
And this is just
yeah, that's cool.
yours changed things. Like this just feels like a beautiful sky. When I look at yours, I see something different. I see water.
Yeah,
yeah.
mist over water to me. That's what
And
it
I
is.
love her softer sun,
Mm-hmm.
not a hard edge.
And
And
look
it's
at the
more-
one below that. I
The other
painted
one looks more like a
white.
graphic.
I
It's
painted-
warmer. The other one's
Mm.
cold. That one's much warmer.
Mhm.
That's the second one I did.
Wow.
Which is fun also, but I think the lost edges kind of popping up and disappearing is a little more confusing to me. I appreciate this one very much, but I think that the other one just feels more stable somehow.
That was
Your
the-
foreground feels like it's in the foreground.
And I love the lighting in the bottom part of it. It's gorgeous. It just brings the life to those plants. It's just beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, Linda, can you tell us a little bit about what did you do here to create this kind of transition? You got these soft edges right in the foreground and are going from warms to darks. What did you do in there?
Well, I put a medium value in that you see that looks kind of like the softer. And I sort of, I put the medium value and then a lighter value in the whiter looking color. And I sort of blended those together and I went back and I reiterated that. I did it again. And then I added the dark to the bottom. And then I put the, after I was finished with everything, I put the grassy things on it. And I just,
Yeah, I don't know what you've been eating or drinking lately, but your paintings are just going so, like, you're just excelling lately. Like a lot of your paintings, like I feel like in the last 3 weeks I've told you every time is like, this is one of my new favorites of yours. And I don't want to put any pressure on you. But because I want you to experiment and be willing to fail, but I don't know what it is that you've done besides I think you're just
She's using a reference.
looking at
just-
you're looking at the shapes and you're not painting things so much.
I just quit being afraid to make a mistake. I just wanted to do things so perfectly, always in this class. And when you say something to me, I have a really bad learning curve. I've studied neurolinguistics, and I'm telling you, it's how we say things sometimes. and if somebody says, don't do this, I will inevitably, I will do it because of how you say it. And then it's like, if you say, would turn it around for me and say, now remember, trees can overlap, instead of don't put your trees. Because the words that we hear
Wow.
are the last three words in a sentence. That's what sticks with our brain and in our minds. So I always listen to what people say, and then I will do exactly what you said for me not to do. And then I go back and I look and I said, well, he told me not to do that. And
you need to talk to my doctor.
I mean, this is literally people do not understand. And this is why when I would give medicine in the hospital, the patient's family would say, you're hypnotizing my family member, and I don't like that. And I said, sir, I am not hypnotizing your family member. You want her to take her medicines, right? So you hear what I said to him? You want her to take her medicine. Take her medicine is what stuck in his head. That's what he said to me. So when I say things, I say it in a way that I feed my brain the right information so I can produce that.
All right. So one of your many jobs in my class is to help me become a better teacher and a better communicator. And I very much appreciate that.
Okay, but I'm not saying that you're not communicating well. I'm saying that my mind has this structure. I mean, we all have our clicks, our little dings, you know what I'm saying, mentally? And I'm on the spectrum of, I don't know where.
You're a rebel.
Well,
You say don't do it, I'm gonna do it. I gotta go play in the street.
Well, but
I think we could have a lot of fun messing with her head. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it's just me messing with my own head, you know, and then I have to go back and I look at that painting that you said, don't put those trees, the little trees between the tall trees. And I painted it, Michael, with a good heart. I wanted to do it just like you wanted me to do it. But when I finished and I put the brush down, I said, I'll be damned. But I did. You know?
Yeah, and that is the thing. I mean, I grew up again with learning disabilities and things, and certain teachers really clicked with me, and I was able to understand. And usually, it was if they presented it visually for me. But even if it was math, or you know what I mean, like they showed me this math equation equals this apple being sliced into all these pieces. But like, yeah, that's the thing. And that's why I try to present this class in so many different formats, with the handouts, with the references, with the
That's great.
examples, with the demo, and that we all learn differently. And I love that you know that about yourself. And I feel like I must be becoming a much better communicator with you, because you're just kicking butt.
Could I add
And
something?
we all learn in 2 or 3 different, we learn in all ways. There's, hearing, seeing, feeling, and, just watching people do things. But my first thing is seeing and hearing. Those are my first 2 ways. And so that hearing, I have to turn it around and make it work.
Absolutely.
Could I add something? So
yeah, please.
With the neurolinguistics, I know what you're talking about, Linda. It's like our brains do not hear the negative. So if somebody says, do not think of a pink elephant, everybody immediately sees a pink elephant. Don't put that rock in the road, and then you're looking for the rock in the road. Sure. So yeah, I do the same thing. I try really hard to say things in the do this rather than don't do that, because our brains, they just discard the not and the don't. They discard it, and they do the opposite of what we want.
Yeah. Well, I studied with some really good good instructors with this theory, and it got me to the point in the hospitals, the doctor would say, "This is a difficult patient. I want Linda to take care of it." And I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, thank you," but they all took their meds and they did well. And they came back and they thanked me for it like years later sometimes. But people would say, charge nurses would say, "I would never be charged ever, ever." And they'd say, "Why?" "Because I'd rather work with the patient and I don't want to do paperwork." The point was, I could talk to the patients in a way that they understood how to help themselves better and how to, if they wanted to live, what they could do to help themselves, better themselves. And for me, that was what being a nurse was about. But it's also about how we learn also.
All right, I'm going to cut you off there, Linda. We'll carry on to that tomorrow. Just got to keep moving forward. But yeah, that's fantastic. And again, you guys, I'm striving to be the best instructor and help you all the best that I can.
Yeah.
So, Linda, that is great feedback for me just going forward. And yeah, again, I completely commiserate with you on just how we hear and what we take in. So thank you for that. All right, Linda Morgan O'Connor. Let's start here.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
It was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I said, I'm going to take a picture of that.
I'm glad you did. Yeah, there's some days where I'm like, why am I sharing my painting on Instagram or Facebook? I should be sharing my palette.
Yeah.
The pretty colors are down here. They get muddy when I get them up there. Beautiful, great colors. And tell me this wasn't just delightful for you.
Oh yeah. I loved doing all these warm, cool variations on each base color and trying to get right where I wanted to be. Yeah. Yeah. It was great fun.
I mean, every section is like a designer's dream.
Colors
You know
did
what I
you
mean?
use?
Like this would be a beautiful room.
Yeah,
This
the
would be a
colors actually,
beautiful room.
the way I do my set up my table is I put the colors I'm using and I put the tubes around. So on the perimeter are all the colors that I used there. So it was raw umber, quin rose, cobalt, cerulean. I always have my transparents up on the top. So I have my transparent red oxide, transparent yellow oxide, and then Payne's gray, the white, and then on the right, just a cad yellow light and a Shiva orange. And I like to mix those two together to make like this sunny, creamy yellow that I use all the time now, and with white. And sometimes I'll throw in a little bit of the transparent yellow oxide to mute it down a little bit, but that's become a real workhorse for me in terms of a base color. So yeah, but that's how I set up my palette, and that's more and more.
So how you set up your palette's completely wrong.
I know.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I
works
actually
for me.
wanted to point that out, that everybody sets it out
Yeah.
differently. Like once you've painted for a while, like I show you how I lay it out. Mine's yellow, my white, then my yellows, then my reds, then my blues. And that's just how I do it. I don't know anybody else that lays them out like I do. I'm sure there's tons, but out of my friends that I go out and paint with, everybody figures out their ways. There's some people that put their warms on one side, their cools on the other. The big thing that I want you guys to see in this is that the colors are on the outside. So you have a big working / mixing area.
Yeah.
And whatever you do, experiment. If you're new to painting, experiment with your layout. Like I used to put my white over here on my right corner, but I found that just by how my wrist is, I've broken it a couple of times. I broke a lot of bones. My wrist is just naturally goes to this corner better, and I'm using my white the most. So I just put my white there and it worked perfectly. And if you, prefer I put my guest colors here. But however you do it, like again, artists do it completely differently. But once you figure it out, start doing it the same. Because I'm sure as soon as I asked Linda, when you're mixing your colors, you just take your brush and dab, dab, dab. It's what I compare it to is the keys on a piano or the keys on a keyboard. If you're changing the position of those keys all the time, you're going to type or play the piano much more poorly. And I don't even think, like, my brush just goes to that pile and grabs a little bit of that color when it needs to modify it. Like, oh, a little more blue. It's a little more reddish blue. Okay, that's the ultramarine. Oh, it's a little more of the greenish blue. Okay, that's a little more. So just you want to get used to your palette so that it becomes, again, like the keys on a keyboard where you're able to type, for those of us who can type without, pointing and pecking, whatever that's called. And so, yeah, I was just joking that there's no wrong way to lay out a palette. Besides, so many times when I get first time students, they'll just put their colors right in the middle of the palette, which I get it, but there's no area to work and mix the colors.
Can I ask Linda, where does she put the reds that you use?
The red's over on the left. I just use Quin Rose. I
Okay.
hardly ever use anything else. And because the transparent red oxide is kind of reddish. I don't even, I'm definitely not using a split primary. It's fewer colors. I've been trying to really limit colors and I've been happy with it. So.
Yeah, I find when I'm not teaching, I only put out quinacridone red for me.
Yeah,
I don't need the cadmium red light hardly ever. I'll put it out if I'm really gonna have some some bright reds.
Yeah, and I'm mixing that Quin Rose with the Shiva orange a lot.
And it becomes a cad red light.
Yeah. No
Except for it's a semi-transparent.
Right, so I feel like I don't need that cad red.
Yeah. I'm on my very last tube of cad red. Yeah, I find for me, the quinacridone red is easier to warm up. I'm not fighting it as much, and it's super easy to cool down. I can turn my quinacridone rose or red to a quinacridone rose by just adding the littlest bit of blue. So I find quinacridone red, I can get to almost a cadmium red light.
Yeah.
And I can get it to a cadmium rose in a heartbeat. So that's why I use that color. But yeah, use what you're good at, and then you're obviously good at your colors. So.
And that was a Hail Mary. I had started a wipe away last Thursday class and I fell in love with the painting. It was coming along well, but I knew I wasn't going to get even close to being done with it. And I was going to rush it and I was going to ruin it. So I set it aside and I said, I'm going to do this simple. It was from a photo I took. That is actually the closest beach to us, Surfside Beach here in Myrtle Beach. And so I just said, okay, on Monday, I said, I'm going to try. So I just went and did this fairly quickly.
So what part are you not happy with? Like, why do you feel like you have more?
It wasn't that I was unhappy. I started a more complicated painting last Thursday in class. It was a wipe away. I did post it. I'll grab it though and show you. It was, but my problem with it was just going to take too long and I wasn't going to be done. So there's that.
That's beautiful.
Oh yeah, I remember. Golly, your sky. Excuse my language, but golly.
And I spent, beautiful. Got really into the sky, and I spent much time on the sky that by Sunday, I was saying this, and it's not even very gray. So like I've said, okay, no, I'll work with you later.
That's a beautiful painting.
It is.
Well, I didn't want to wreck it, so. And I know that if I started
to stop,
rush it, but this was a simple, it was simpler. But even then, I got into the sky and I said, "Oh, Am I even going to finish this one? Maybe not.
I don't
I-
think it's very simple. I think you
Yeah.
simplified it.
I simplified it a little, but yeah.
I think
I'm-
it's beautiful.
Beautiful it is.
And really the sand is only scrubbed in at this point, but I don't want to overwork it either. So I'll take, you know,
Well,
but I
the
got
colors
most
in the horizon and, you know, the transition from the sky to the water is beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely. And I love the reflections in the water.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's a nice piece. I mean, it could almost be done, but yes, I would like a little more texture, a little more
right.
contrast.
And it just needs
The
a little bit more
foreground,
paint.
because it does appear flattish, right? This goes back to the darks come forward. And if you
Yeah.
just kind of darken these areas,
Yeah.
this will come
Yeah.
forward, and all of a sudden this falls back because everything's, you know, comparative and everything's related. Nice job. I mean, and
It's
beautiful
beautiful.
grays. I mean, there's no vibrant color in this. I mean, this little bits of blue up here are your most vibrant colors, but they're still muted down. Like these kind of blue grays are really tough for me. And I don't know why that is. Like anyways, not about me, but really nicely done. Like this just feels like there's weather and a little bit of clearing. Like we don't know if this is a cloud. We don't know why it's that much darker, cooler, you know, grayer, but it just feels like there's weather. Like the clouds have other atmosphere that are joining them. And yeah, beautiful piece.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Mrs. Holmberg. Oh, you're doing broken color already. What are you doing here? You're getting ahead of the class.
I tried. I hate this so much.
Why?
This is like the worst thing I've ever done. I don't know if I should keep working on it or just toss it. I don't know. I think I was just in the mood for more color this week. So down below, there's a gradient that I had a lot of fun with. And I mean, I've done grays before, like nocturnes, and it's been fine. But I don't know. I didn't find a good mother color, or I don't know. I don't know. I really,
All right,
hate
so I'm going to ask everybody to squint their eyes and look at the sky.
Looks
And
beautiful.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That yellow vibrating off those purple grays is something like, oh man, I wish I was doing some of that stuff. That is really neat.
I think so too.
I think it's great.
Yeah, you do have areas that don't make sense.
yes.
And you do have areas that you're not trusting yourself and over explaining. I feel like you went through a couple personality changes during this painting.
I did.
And I
I
also
did.
feel like you didn't trust yourself in some areas, which is totally normal, 100%. I mean, I do it all the time. But this light gray here doesn't fit. Like
No,
this
and-
is definitely the area where it goes warm, cool, back to kind of warmer, and then warm darks. Like this
Yeah.
cool area is the area that's throwing your whole painting.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought I darkened it, and then I looked at the photo and I was like, wait, what? Because that was supposed to be darker. So I don't know. I think it might have been when I was like, I hate this. I don't even want to talk to you to thank you.
A good chance the lighting that you had when you took the photograph of it can change the values.
Yeah, and that might have happened because it's really weird. That is not,
That doesn't look like it to you in person.
no, it's really weird. But
Yeah, I mean, that's the only area I don't love. I also don't love the fact that you just didn't trust us and you're just like, this is ground line.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Well,
I do that same thing, but it's just like, you know, it's not related.
I
This
felt like the
line,
light source kept changing. I mean, I might as well have been outside for 2 hours because the light source kept moving in my head. I don't know.
right. And we've
Okay.
talked about doing this every single class and we've never done it, is You know, what are our questions? What is our personal checklists? And I think we should do that. But again, for those of you who are new to me, my first two things that I always say is, where's my horizon line? Second thing is, where's my light source? And actually, I probably even say, where's my light source first?
Yeah,
And the truth is, we don't know. I presume it's here.
yeah. That's where it ended up. Oh, I looked over this chasing.
Sometimes it's the last question we ask.
Yeah. All right, so I should keep working on it, not throw it away.
Oh, for sure. No, there's
Absolutely.
it's just it's not delicate like a lot of your other work.
Yeah.
It feels like you used a big, thick, juicy brush and you just kind of were knocking in colors. And that's great, you know. I mean, some of my favorite paintings that I never want to paint like are the you know, European mid-century painters. What are they called? They were the translates to the beasts.
The
The
Favis.
Favis.
The Favists.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fauv. And they just painted just crazy, like thick and juicy. And yeah, it freaks me out like to even think to paint like that. But this feels like that. And again, I'm complimenting and slapping you at the same time. But it feels like, I mean, there's no delicacy in this at all, right?
Right.
There's no, you went in heavy handed, you went in a bad mood and attacked the painting. And,
Yeah.
and it, you know what I mean? It feels heavy handed, especially for you, because I know your paintings. But that can be a lot of fun. And there's a lot of times I'll start my paintings very heavy handed and then get more and more delicate. I've even put the camera up to the painting surface for you guys in past classes saying, just listen, don't watch, just listen to the noise my brush is making as it paints. And it starts off scrub, 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 you know, pat, 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 you know, you can hear the brush on the canvas. And as I finish the painting, it's silent. It's just I'm not even, the brush isn't even hitting the canvas. It's just the paint is coming off the brush. And you haven't gotten to that level yet. So this is a fantastic underpainting. It's a fantastic Fauvist painting, Fauvist, however you say it, I don't know. You're painting in a mood. And if not, it looks like you were. And with a couple subtle shifts and then a little bit of delicacy, you could really bring this out.
Okay.
So much.
Yeah.
You're 80%, but your 20% is really showing.
Okay. And I was trying to do that broken color thing, and it made me crazy. Like all the little dabbing.
Every
Oh
time you
my
push
gosh.
yourself, you find something new about your painting style.
Yeah. I wanted to try a different technique, and I think I discovered it is not my thing.
All right. So here's the other thing we're going to talk about in broken color is you've got broken color here, and this will be a big part of what we'll talk about, but the values aren't holding.
Okay.
These lights are breaking this to pieces.
Yeah.
So it's not enough to have broken color. Your values still have to hold true.
Okay.
In thinking about today's class, I actually wanted to paint over an old painting where the values were okay, but the colors were bad, and just come back and attack it. But it is about values. Remember, values before colors.
Got it. And then the gradients below that, if you can look at it super fast, I won't say a thing. It's just weird.
Oh no, it's so cool. It's so great. Yeah. I love this, and I think you had posted it twice, so it's on here. I just moved it over. But yeah, look at all the comments you're getting. I think this is a totally fun idea. I wish your tubes went to the color that they ended on, to the color they started on.
Oh, I wanted them to lead into the next one, kind of.
Yeah, no, they do, but I'm just saying, like, I wish it would have been yellow to yellow, dark red to dark red.
Uh-huh.
purple to purple. So it looked like they were literally like feeding
Pouring
into
into
each other.
each other, yeah.
So it looks like a flow of water, like 4 different fish tanks where the water's moving between them.
Uh-huh.
So that was my only, but no, I think this is brilliant. So fun. It's really interesting. Yeah, it definitely made me think of like, oh, how would I do this? You know, because yeah, see this blue feeds in and becomes this blue, and then transitions to the yellow. I wish that yellow then went to here, became there. The red went to here, over to here. The purple went to here, and then became the purple up there. That's all. I mean, no critique. You did it. But that literally, it's so fun when I see some experiment that you guys are doing and going, ooh, if I got to continue on this experiment, what would I do? Yeah, no, it's tons of fun. And
Thank you.
beautiful colors. I mean, look at that. That's just so pretty. Great job. And you did 4 of them instead of 1 of them. You little brown noser, you.
Here.
Thank you.
Yeah, is Michelle here?
I am.
Oh, there you are.
I,
Sorry, I don't get to see everybody. I have to scroll through to see who's here, but just a beautiful black and white / grayscale painting. I mean, dynamic and interesting, and you've got like fun brushwork, and yeah, tell us a little bit about this.
well, it was last week we were staying in Seaside, Oregon in a Best Western, and so I wasn't in my usual place to paint, but it was just so wonderful to be able to look out and see such beautiful skies and water and so forth. So, you know, I was trying to stay with the homework assignment, which was with the grays, and I did use, I didn't use any black. I just mixed colors to get,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And I wish I
Yeah, it's
could,
funny. The top looks like black and white, and the bottom I can see the blues and the yellows a little more, but up here it looks like you must have mixed such a great dark gray.
thanks. Yeah, I was really pleased with it. And I'll tell you, I used one of your tips, which was I took the photo of the beach and then I went into the edit queue of the photo on my iPad, and I changed it, the scale from color to black and white. So that really helped.
Fun.
Yeah, it really helped a lot. Yeah.
And the cool thing is, like, you can, you know, you already have a good photo of it. Now you can go in and color this all day long if you wanted to,
I know,
or you can just do it
thinking of
again.
going back and doing one in color now. We'll see.
Yeah, lovely. And again, just nice movement, nice motion, nice variety. So I'm going to talk about this later today, is when I do broken color or impressionistic paintings, I fall into this trap where I start doing dab, dab, dab,
Right.
where my brush strokes become the same. Because, you know, a lot of early Monet and a lot of early impressionist paintings have that kind of dab, dab, dab. And it goes back to almost the old pointillism, right?
Yeah.
Which I kind of hate. And you've done the opposite. You've got such a variety and movement of brush strokes. I'm going to try to remember your painting when I'm painting.
I get really nervous about showing my work, so thanks. Any encouragement helps.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank-
I love the light blue in that left bottom corner of this reflection from the sky.
yeah. Thank you. That was actually just thinning it down again with some water. I work in acrylics,
Uh-huh.
so but it was fun being at the Best Western and painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
love the
Michelle,
water.
with this group, don't be shy.
Okay.
We
Thanks.
might be mean. We're definitely mean, but it's an opportunity to
loving
just
way.
learn. Don't
loving
judge your
way.
work too much. I mean, some of our best discussions are when Linda Morgan O'Connor or Gail Riggins or, you know, other painters who are a little further along
Yeah.
share their less than successful pieces when they have questions about their paintings. Regini's done the same thing, where we're just like, I could look at every face on this thing. And we've all been painting long enough together where we've all had struggles.
Right.
And we can learn so much from our less than successful pieces, all of us. Because we all understand we're all going through it or have gone through it or are going to go through it
Right.
over and over and over again, because that's how paintings are. And so, yeah, don't worry. You might not get all the praise that you're looking for in every painting,
Yeah, right. Well, this
but
helped a lot. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And thanks for going to Dragonfire.
Oh,
Okay, so we have 3 left. But you can see how long this has taken. We're already an hour left of class. So just not say I want to do this. I want to spend this time talking, but it does take a long time, even when I'm trying to go as quickly as I can. So sometimes what we may do in the future is I'll take half of you and then we'll start on the other end and come back the other half, just so we have enough time. And again, the first 4 weeks are going to be my more instructional weeks. And then the last 3 weeks, we will spend time reflecting, putting it into practice and painting, maybe more larger paintings or more finished paintings. But anyways, just to be aware, Nyla, this is great. Look at these beautiful, beautiful, so many colors. I mean, you literally have every color. If I said reddish, bluish, yellowish, greenish, purplish, but they're all harmonizing really quite well. Maybe this little yellow patch jumps out a bit, but yeah, tell us a little bit about this, Nyla.
Okay, I started off, I took your shortcut suggestion with the burnt sienna and the ultramarine blue and mixed a big pile of that. And then when I started mixing the other colors for the painting, I used that as kind of a base and just added to it to make the other colors. And then I showed you last Thursday my really ugly underpainting. I used, I think, about 3 different colors on the underpainting and let the those colors show through a little bit in the painting itself.
That's lovely. I mean, yeah, my good buddy Anton Pavlenko, who, we might look at some of his work, he does a lot of that. And yeah, he's just killing it. His paintings are so beautiful. Yeah, and what's showing through, again, this yellow is jumping out to me. Yeah. Maybe just because I don't like that color. But I think it's more vibrant. But the rest of it has such a neat, nice harmony.
I love the way you treated the trees.
Yeah. I wasn't really happy with that yellow either. And I finally gave up because I was making it worse. I can go back now that it's dry and do maybe improve that. But I didn't want to make mud, so I stopped.
Yeah, no worries. You do have a tangent right here where you have this triangle down in the bottom that leads right up to the edge of this, that leads to the edge of this. So I would break this up a little bit. Okay. Also, you have a shadow being cast underneath everything, besides in your yellows. So it feels a little bit like misdirect in a way. But I do want to praise, like, if we just cut this painting off right here and it was just this, fantastic. These reflections are beautiful. Again, so much harmony. Yeah, and I'm so glad you picked Mark Hansen's painting to kind of start working off, just because that's, again, I think I told you guys that that's just a painting I've loved for so long. I don't know if you pulled it aside now.
No,
But,
since it was still up when I painted the picture, so I just did not.
It's still over there. We could find it, but I don't want to spend time doing it right now. Oops, jump too far. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, Phyllis, do you mind if we don't talk about this one right now and we go down to your other one?
Nope. I'll have one question about those first two, but yeah, go ahead, whatever.
That's
All right.
fine.
I
That's
love this. This actually inspired me because I did a couple gradients in the first class, and I'm like, "Ooh, I could bring these beautiful grays over the top and make them much more interesting." And I was so excited to see that you revisited the reference that you really liked. Remember, it had the mountain in there,
Yeah.
and you changed it and made it your own, and it's really beautiful. I mean,
Beautiful.
whole
Right.
top quadrant is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Smoky Mountains.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it was from a photo that I took, and I submitted it with the mountain to another class. And first thing Michael said is take the mountain out. And I went, but that's Mount St. Helens. And he said, take the mountain out. So I did. I just took it out, and yeah, I think it was absolutely the right thing to do, and focused on more the area where the little house is, and yeah. So, and I love doing skies like that. So
Yeah, it's beautiful.
kind of easy once I took the mountain out.
Yeah, I'm totally
nice.
stealing your top two-thirds of this picture and putting it into one of my paintings. I just think that harmony and that I love the soft edges.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I can get a drink real quick.
Love the color and the, especially,
Yeah, it's really nice, and
so subtle. Not,
Very so. It's beautiful.
not very often I get to give advice and then say, "Oh, I did a good job giving that advice." So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I have to tell you, it spawned an entire discussion amongst friends and families about, leave the mountain in, take the mountain out, leave the mountain. It was really quite the event.
Right, but it becomes subject versus painting, right? You know what I mean? You already had a good photo of the mountain, but your mountain was right, if I remember correctly, it was right in the middle.
Yeah.
And it was fighting. It was like, who is the dominant? What is the subject? And it was a sky image, but the mountain was important because it's such a, it's like if in all of our states, all of our areas, we have things that are iconic, right? I paint Mount Hood a lot here in Oregon, or the Gorge, or Haystack Rock, which on the coast, and they're very iconic. So they become the thing oftentimes, but a lot of times I'm just after the sky colors or the the relative, whatever it is that's. So yeah, it's a battle. It's a battle, subject versus.
Yeah, I think the reference with the mountain in it will forever be a nice photo, but it doesn't translate over. And also Mount St. Helens is really kind of an ugly mountain, I love it, but it's a big bump now. It has it doesn't have a typical mountain look to it. So I think it's really probably not something I will ever paint.
Your painting is so much better than that photo.
yeah,
It is.
Thank you for that.
And I mean, you changed everything. What you did was you just took a little bit of reference from this.
Well, thank you.
And that's what I love is, just taking an inspiration, a starting point. And then, I mean, they're so separate, but they're the same, and they still have the same feeling and the same mood. But it's not, it's not iconography anymore.
Right.
Nicely done. I'm very proud of you, Phyllis.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful, beautiful painting.
Beautiful.
Oh, can I
All
just,
right, Regini, I've been too nice to everybody. Let's be mean to you, just so I can show people that I know how.
before we move on though, can I just ask one question from everybody? So if you go back to the grays, so you see there's two of them. Okay. So one is very gray, and then the next one actually is more accurate of what the finished painting looks like. I'm going to fix a couple things in it, but it has the colors in it. But I can't get my iPhone to give me a really accurate feed sometimes on the colors. So how do you all get that? How do
You
you get
can't,
painting your iPhone picture to look like what the painting actually is?
I mean, for one, it's impossible.
Okay.
For two, you have to look at the angle of the light. So your light is coming in from the upper left corner.
Correct. It's right at the window, but I also put the shade down to try. I took 100 pictures of this, and still it's not right. Okay.
So when it's wet, it's especially that oil really creates. There's times I have to shoot it in the almost dark.
Oh.
There's times where I have to shoot it at an extreme angle, and then fix the angle post. So on your iPhone, if you shoot your picture crooked, let's say, like from the top so that the bottom part is getting narrow, you can actually adjust that in your iPhone. You can straighten it out afterwards. So I'm constantly looking at where's the reflection and then trying to move my camera against it. Your best bet is on an overcast day. You want a very diffuse, soft light.
Okay. Okay, that's
It's so hard. I will tell you, especially for clients and stuff, like where they want to see it in progress. Oh, it just kills me because I have to like write a whole paragraph about don't judge this. And these reds are, it's so difficult. It really, really is. I mean, that's why like when you take it to get a professional to photograph your artwork, it's in a big dark room with 5 lights and all with diffuse filters over them. And it's really difficult. Yeah.
okay. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of times I can't even photograph them until they're dry, and then I put like a matte varnish over them, especially into the darks and stuff. And yeah, a lot of times I'll do what you did and kind of point the sky towards the light because it doesn't matter if it has a little more glare and a little more bleached out area. Yeah, I hate it. Photographing I mean, that's why I pay a professional $75 for a photo for my big work, is just because I can't do it. Yeah, it is difficult. I have things to say about this, but we're out of time, and I want to talk to Regini, take a break, and then come back and do all the other things, because yeah, now we're getting close to. Nicely done though, and great question, Phyllis. And I'm sure we're all wrestling with them. I can see the glare, and even in these. All right, Regini, what the heck are you doing? Just kidding. I'm not going to be mean.
I started the top one left side picture first. This is Linda's photo, and I wanted to make it gray, but somehow I couldn't.
Because you're
It's
Regini.
it's not in your genes.
It's not in your
Great
Regini's.
job, Regini.
So I left that like that, and then I started the one which is below that. But that also I felt it is not really gray. So, then I did this both 2 other picture paintings. I thought at least one will be gray, so that's how.
Yeah.
I love your landscape. That is gorgeous.
Your landscape is green with the green grass is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Makes me long for spring already.
You and me both.
So Regini, if you really want gray, but the thing is I almost don't want you to paint gray because you're Regini and you're such a beautiful colorist and such a colorful person. that, you know, my lessons are for some of you and not for all of you, right? Take what you want, and you know what I mean? But you're a colorist, and it shows. I mean, even your gray painting has got some very like blues that
Yeah.
would kill me to paint. They're so bright. But they're beautiful. All of them are beautiful. This is me being mean, by the way. And no, they're great. And so, yeah, I'm glad each one, what you did is you just like, I'm going to paint it gray. No, I'm not. I'm going to paint it gray. No, I'm not. I'm going to paint it gray, a little bit grayer, but that's enough. And so don't worry about it. You know what I mean? You guys, all these lessons, I'm just presenting you as tools and ideas. They're not, there's no truth in any of it. There's no, you know, there's no rules. They're all just ideas. They're all just thoughts. And take what you want. I mean, even today about broken color, like, you know, try to do a broken color painting. If you hate it, then fine. If it doesn't work, you know what I mean? Just keep moving, keep painting. And that's how we're all going to find our style. But if we haven't tried it, then we don't know, right? If we haven't leaned in towards it, right, Regina? I could make you paint a gray painting. I'd just say your painting has to be, you know,
No, but
3
Michael, I want
colors.
to learn it. I want to do it.
All right, here's your quick assignment for a 30-minute painting.
Okay.
Ultramarine blue, transparent earth red, and white.
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay.
She will make color out of that.
She will, yeah, and
I'll
none
bet
of the
money
colors
on
can be
it.
pure. That ultramarine cannot be pure. It has to touch. All 3 colors have to touch.
Okay. Yeah, I will try.
Oh man, I think I just killed Regina.
She'll get it figured out. There'll be color in there.
I know.
I can see
know.
beautiful pinks in it already.
Yep.
Anyways, they're all nice. Every one of them is interesting and fun and dynamic. I mean, I love, you're just so good with angles and creating movement. And I mean, none of these are what's the word, stagnant or still pieces.
Static.
They all static. Thank you. They all have a vibrancy and a life and motion to them. And
Energy, good energy.
Yeah, there's good energy. in all of them. The bottom left looks like a really interesting seascape.
yeah, I'm
does.
curious
From
what's
motion.
going on here.
Yeah,
Almost reminds me of a Turner painting.
yeah.
Beautiful. Each
Yeah.
is lovely.
Yeah, there is one more. Yeah. I think
That looks like a Regina Gray painting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great for Regina.
Regina,
It's so brave. I mean, again, I look at you and the painting, we were just looking at Phyllis, and I'm just like, I want to do this. I wouldn't even think to do earth colors next to bright purples. But it just really, I mean, I probably overused the term, but it sings, right? There's something happening, that there's a vibrancy, and it's almost, I don't want to say off-putting by any means, but it's unexpected.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. It's unexpected. It's like hearing music that you almost recognize, but you have never heard before.
like Mother Nature singing.
Yeah.
All that broken color, you're done for the week.
Yeah.
Yes, you're done. You don't have any homework.
Oh,
Yeah, she does. She's gonna do a
Yeah.
ultramarine blue and
Infinite painting.
transparent red.
Regina, we love you.
oh,
Yes,
thank you.
very beautiful.
Yeah, so fun. It's so nice to see. I learned so much from looking at your guys' work and analyzing them and talking to you guys about them. And again, this is just not a palette my brain would have even conceptualized. And I love it. I really think it, and it feels real. Like it's discordant. Again, like music that I haven't quite heard, you know, putting notes next to each other that aren't quite comfortable, but are beautiful.
Yeah. Michael, I have a question. Do you think I should do work on trees somewhat? Especially the other side tree?
I would. I feel like these hard edges over here,
Mhm.
I just know that you're capable of much more delicate. It just feels kind of a little forced, like
Okay.
little fingers popping up or toes. And then these, it feels like a little bit you got lazy and just
Yeah.
started, this dab right here equals a
Yeah,
leaf. And now I've done dab, leaf, 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 leaf. I wish they were a little more connected. It feels kind of like confetti falling down.
Oh,
And then you do have, again, a tangent right here.
oh,
So I would like that. And then your darks here. I know the photos lousy that you referenced, but I would like
yeah.
a little bit of color in your shadows, some blues,
Oh.
and some greens, some purple. You could bring some of these purples,
Okay.
really dark,
Yeah.
will really liven this up. Because
Yeah.
all this color in the blue is reflecting into here. Whereas your darks, and I talked about this last week, that a lot of times when we paint black,
Yeah.
it's just dead. You have all these darks that you can continue to play and bring life into.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the photo's crap, so you have to make it up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll work on it.
Perfect.
Thank
All right.
you.
Any parting questions? All right. Great class, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Just kidding. Let's take a break, and we will do a quick lesson. And then we will do a quick painting demo as well. And class will end at about 4 o'clock this afternoon if we're lucky. Woo, you guys are mine now.
Yeah.
All right. Dog will never get a walk. All right. See you guys in a bit.